are in Sheviit Perichet Mishnah Yud. A very short Mishnah that comes in the heels of the last Mishnah where we talked about someone who misused Shemitah produce, and Rabbi Eliezer was quoted as saying you had to burn the item that the Shemitah was used with. And then when Rabbi Akiva heard this quote in the name of Rabbi Eliezer, he said, Shtoku, be quiet. Lo mar lechem masher Rabbi Eliezer omer bo. I'm not going to tell you what Rabbi Eliezer said in that case. So this Mishnah is exactly the same, a continuation of that Mishnah. Similarly, they said before Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Eliezer would say, Ochel pat kutim, ochel basar chazir. If someone eats pat kutim, the bread of kutim, it's like as if you ate pork, basar chazir, the flesh of the pig. Okay, so what in the world is going on here? Okay, the basar kutim, the kutim, as we learned in previous Mishnayot, the kutim were geirei arayot. They were geirim, okay, that converted, but they converted under duress because they believed they were being eaten by lions. They were being eaten by lions. It's in the Navi, and for a period of time they were considered Jews, but they were not careful about some mitzvot, and they were very meticulous about other mitzvot. Chachamim said some things we couldn't trust them with, and other things, if they were known to be meticulous, then you could trust them. So the question is, later on, after a certain period of time, when Chazal discovered that they didn't worship God, but rather worshipped Har Grizim, okay, they worshipped literally the mountain of Har Grizim, then the Chachamim made Gzeira and said they were Goyim L'chol Davar. So the question is, was Rabbi Akiva talking about before the Gzeira or after the Gzeira? In fact, the Bartenura says the following. It says, interesting, Ki ochel basar chazir, it doesn't mean that it's like as if you ate basar chazir. Lav davka, the Bartenura says, not really. She'ein ha'ochel pat kuti lo min ha'torah. There's no malkut if a person would eat pat kuti. It's i.e. you're not violating it to do a raita. Ela makat martu d'Rabbanan, but it's a gzeira d'Rabbanan, meaning what you're seeing here is a gzeira d'Rabbanan that is a specific legislation in order to distance the Jews from the Kutim and as a knas, as a punishment for the Kutim. Why were they giving them the punishment? Okay, so the Tosfos Yontif here quotes, Umashma, the implication is, it's after the Kutim were declared to be like Obdei Kochavim. Why? The Tosfot wrote, because they were negated, they were vatel, they were not involved in the building of the Beit HaMikdash in the times of Ezra. So as a Kanais, they said, you know what? Even your bread is asur. Not only is it asur, it's asur ki basar chazir. It's a very, very harsh formulation as a means of making a macha, making a protest against the stance that the Kutim took. So they said this in the name of Rabbi Eliezer, that they said in front of Rabbi Akiva, we heard Rabbi Eliezer said, Ochel pat kutim ki ochel basar chazir. It's like you ate pork. Amar lahem, so he said to them, Shtoku, be quiet. Lo amar lechem asher Rabbi Eliezer omer bo. Again, very interesting formulation. I'm not going to tell you what Rabbi Eliezer said. Here, the Bartenura says, Demekir bo tvei. I'm not going to tell you what Rabbi Eliezer says, because it seems that Rabbi Eliezer, according to the Bartenura and the Rambam, was very mekil in this case. He was much more lenient. And he thought that the idea that they would legislate it against the Kutim was an overreach, which sometimes can be. It's a very interesting case. We see clearly it's a halachic gzeira, but it's a gzeira that emanates from an ideological position, from a sectarian position. And not everybody has to agree that it's kochel basar chazir. In fact, according to Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Eliezer strongly disagreed, and according to the way the Bartenura explains, thought it was extreme at the very least to say something. He was much, much more lenient about the bread of Kutim. We'll stop here. We'll dedicate the learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman, and you can reach me as always at arspolter@gmail.com.